Since he was first elected back in 2007, he has been a steadfast, accessible, forward-thinking partner to our association. Please give a warm welcome to 42nd Ward Alderman Brendan Reilly.
Sorry, everybody, I had to do a photo op there. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for the very kind introduction. And I'd also like to extend my thanks to TAO for hosting us, as they do every year. I know that this is a big footprint in River North, but they do a really good job as a nightclub and a restaurant in respecting our neighbors. And so I want to thank them for continuing being a positive force in the River North neighborhood. I also want to congratulate all the new board members on your election. Congratulations. I look forward to working with you. I'm just going to give you a really brief update on some of the things I've been working on, a little snapshot of the chaos that's going on at City Hall right now, and hopefully finish on a positive note. But tomorrow we're going to be voting on Mayor Johnson's first budget, and it's going to be a pretty close vote, I think. Typically in 4-year terms at City Hall, the first year of a mayor's budget is supposed to be the very easiest. Typically, mayors are given a lot of goodwill and support from the City Council, but in this particular case, I don't believe we have a balanced budget. We are looking at about a $600 million deficit this year, and the administration's solution is essentially to surplus tax increment finance districts and use other pots of money to fill that gap for this year only. There are no steady revenue streams. There have been no substantial structural changes to our budget. There have been no cuts, no efficiencies, yet an increase in spending on social programs that currently, right now, we can't afford. So I think you're going to see a number of aldermen, primarily the downtown aldermen, the central business district aldermen, voting against the mayor's budget tomorrow. And because of the way they've structured it, it's likely we're going to be staring down a $1 billion deficit this time next year. And at that point, the mayor's going to have to make some very significant structural changes, and I'm sure he will also propose raising property taxes. I want to also talk a little bit about some of the more local issues we've been dealing with here. Obviously, unlike TAO, we have some problem nightclubs in River North, and one in particular, Bloom Nightclub, we were able to close. And I can tell you, yes, I'm happy about that too. What I'm not happy about is how long it takes to close problem nightclubs. Unfortunately, the City of Chicago and our liquor commissioner give, I think, far too much due process to these nightclub owners while they're literally destroying neighborhoods and keeping folks awake every single night. And with Bloom, we entered into the disciplinary process as we do with any problem nightclub, but it was taking far too long. And as we all know, they had a second shooting incident there where 8 people were involved, and we were able to finally use that to get a summary closure and close them down. In the meantime, we were able to persuade the landlord to kick the tenant out and change the locks, which has occurred. They're repainting the building. They're also looking to re-tenant it with a restaurant, not a nightclub. And there's no way a nightclub will ever go back there because I put a moratorium in place on all these blocks in River North. So if you want to apply for a tavern license to open a nightclub, it is literally impossible to do. So you're not going to see any more of that nonsense, especially in that part of the neighborhood. So thank you for your patience. I know it's been incredibly frustrating. It took me 3 or 4 years to shut down Bottle Blonde, which was also a disaster, Concrete Cowboy, which was a disaster, and most recently Bloom, which was a disaster. So we are now working with folks that are seeking licenses to ensure that they're bringing in restaurants, not taverns, and entertainment venues, not poorly run nightclubs. As you all know, I opposed the Medina Temple temporary casino being located here in the heart of River North for lots of obvious reasons. We have already a lot of crime stat issues on the State Street corridor near the Medina Temple. It's a traffic disaster already. Their revenues are not performing the way they had hoped, as predicted, and they are behind schedule on delivering their brand new casino across the river at Hallstatt in Chicago. And I will continue to root against that casino all day long. I don't know if you all agree with that, but I can tell you there were many other better places to put both the temporary and the permanent casino. We've also we've made some investments also in the neighborhood. One thing that I've heard loud and clear is that while the Larrabee Dog Park is great, the Ohio Place Dog Park is not so much. And so we invested some aldermanic discretionary money to install new sprinkler head, sod, and mulch in the Ohio Place Park. And then in the spring, when weather allows, we're also going to be installing a dog run for smaller dogs. We're working on a Larrabee lighting project to install new lighting system units on Larrabee between Chicago Avenue and Superior, and between Huron and Erie Street. We're also modernizing all the light fixtures on both sides of Larrabee between Chicago and Huron to incorporate them into our smart lighting program. And we've removed all the obsolete light poles and all that nonsense. So you're going to see a dramatic improvement there. Also, this past summer, we noticed a disastrous traffic pattern on Larrabee, a major bottleneck leading up to Chicago Avenue. We saw folks driving the wrong way on the streets to try and get into this queue. And so my office asked the Department of Transportation to commission a traffic study to deal with the wrong way drivers, the traffic congestion, and the motorists not stopping at stop signs. It's a very dangerous condition that exists there. So coming next year, you're going to see some bump outs that actually narrow the street, slow down vehicles, and you're also going to see a change in direction of traffic. We're going to actually be converting this into a one-way northbound street the entire length of Larrabee. CDOT insists that it's going to make a dramatic difference on how the street functions, and hopefully it'll be a lot safer for everyone in the neighborhood, and a little easier to get through the neighborhood too. There are a couple of ordinances that I've been working on with my colleagues to address some of the quality of life issues that exist in River North. Obviously, we deal with a lot of problems involving noise, especially altered mufflers, straight pipes on motorcycles, and we are doing a pilot project downtown where we'll be installing noise cameras. You can believe it, there are actually cameras that exist that can listen to decibel levels, and take pictures of license plates, and issue tickets. And this has been successful in New York City, Miami, London. If it works in those cities, certainly could work here. I think we'd all like to get some rest at night. The mufflers drive us all insane. So I'm looking forward to that happening in the spring. The city's working on an RFP to get some the vendors to come in and show us their technology. We're going to have that up and running, hopefully, in the new year. Also, one more issue I wanted to provide an update on, and that is the situation with our migrant crisis here in Chicago. I want to tell you that we have a large facility just off the Mag Mile at St. Clair in Ohio, at the old Inn of Chicago. It houses about 1,600 migrants, depending on the day. And the vast majority of the folks in that building are young families seeking asylum, fleeing horrible conditions in Venezuela. But there is also an element in that building where young men who were released from prison, Venezuela emptied all of their prisons and encouraged everyone to head here. And we do have a number of young men in that facility that are not only terrorizing the young migrant families there, but are also terrorizing the surrounding neighborhood. If you go by this facility any time of day, broad daylight, around lunchtime, 10 o'clock at night, you see the exact same condition. You see folks with weapons, you see open-air narcotic sales, and from time to time you see sex trafficking. I want to give a big compliment to the Chicago Police Department for giving us a lot of extra attention there. They've really been great partners. And thank you, Commander Bars, in the 18th District. CPD is spread incredibly thin. We're down a couple thousand cops from where we were a few years ago, and that's been forcing Commander Bars and his team to get creative in stretching shifts and making their resources work longer hours and in very difficult circumstances. Obviously, the migrant crisis is going to continue because the Johnson administration still does not have a plan to deal with it. We're not getting any federal support. We're getting very limited state support as far as dollars go. Right now, the administration's solution is to create huge base camp, tent camps, as we're heading into what will likely be a brutal winter. I'm not sure how that's going to work. But they're also looking at converting hotels and other large spaces in the downtown area into more inns of Chicago. In my view, the Inn of Chicago has been an abject failure. We are paying an out-of-state vendor millions upon millions of dollars to run that facility poorly. We're paying $20,000 per month per security guard for security guards that aren't securing anything. This administration is asleep at the switch when it comes to the migrant crisis. We are pouring lots and lots of money into a big black hole. And we're not going to get any return on investment until they start auditing where the money is going, how it's being spent, and why we're spending so much money for basic services for folks to provide it that don't even live in Illinois. So that is a real serious problem. The most recent site that's been proposed is right by Marina Towers, right here in River North. The Museum of Broadcast Communications is being strongly considered to serve as another migrant hotel. Yet they've done nothing to improve their operations at the existing facilities that they're running. So it may come a time when I'm going to call upon all of you to help me call the mayor's office and tell them, don't make another mistake. Just steps off the Mag Mile that's going to impact the residential community. I want to basically say that I've been here for 17 years. It's been a tremendous pleasure and honor to serve all of you. A great, hardworking staff. If there's something in your neighborhood that's bothering you, don't assume that someone else is calling and yell at me about it. I'd like you to call and yell at me about it, or maybe even just kindly ask for some help. But that's what we're here to do. So be our eyes and ears, report infrastructure issues, traffic concerns, crime issues, you name it. We're here to be your ombudsman, your connection to the 5th floor where the mayor works, and also to the 18th and 1st police districts. So thank you all again for coming out tonight. I'm really looking forward to working with River North in 2024, the Residents Association and its leadership. It's correct, we do have an excellent working partnership together. I'm looking forward to continuing that. And again, I hope you all have a really healthy and happy and safe holiday season. We look forward to seeing you all in 2024. Thank you very much.